In a devastating turn of events, northern Nevada was gripped by severe flash flooding on Wednesday as a powerful storm system unleashed torrential rains across the region. From the rugged Sierra Nevada foothills to the desert plains of Lyon County, communities were left reeling from the sudden deluge that transformed highways into rivers, neighborhoods into lakes, and daily life into a struggle for survival. The National Weather Service had issued multiple flood watches and flash flood warnings in advance of the storm, but few anticipated the sheer intensity of the rainfall. Moisture-laden air surged into the region from the southwest, colliding with a stalled frontal boundary over northern Nevada. This convergence triggered a series of slow-moving thunderstorms that dumped over 3 inches of rain in less than 2 hours in some areas. Wind gusts reached up to 40 miles per hour, and hail the size of peas battered vehicles and rooftops in Reno and Sparks. The I-80 corridor, a vital artery for commerce and travel, was particularly hard hit. Near Derby Dam, westbound lanes were completely shut down as floodwaters surged across the asphalt, stranding dozens of motorists. Among the hardest-hit areas was Lyon County, where the communities of Dayton, Stagecoach, and Silver Springs bore the brunt of the flooding. Emergency crews scrambled to close sections of US 50 and Ramsey Weeks cut off as fast-moving debris and over 12 inches of water inundated the roads. The closures occurred during peak commute hours, causing widespread traffic chaos and delaying emergency response efforts. Lyon County Emergency Management coordinated with the Sheriff's Office, search and rescue teams, Nevada State Police, and the Department of Transportation to manage the crisis. Despite their efforts, numerous vehicles were reported stuck in mud and ditches after attempting to drive through floodwaters. Authorities reiterated a stark warning. It only takes 12 inches of rushing water to carry away most cars. Never drive into floodwaters. In Silver Springs, residents described scenes of chaos as water surged through culverts and into residential streets. "It came so fast," said Maria Lopez, a mother of 3 whose home was partially submerged. "One moment we were watching the rain. The next we were grabbing our kids and running upstairs." Schools across Lyon County were closed indefinitely, with damage assessments underway. Several classrooms at Silver Springs Elementary were flooded, and the gymnasium at Dayton High School sustained structural damage. Power outages affected over 4,000 homes, and utility crews worked through the night to restore service. Public safety agencies responded swiftly, setting up sandbag stations and emergency shelters. The Lyon County Fairgrounds were converted into a temporary evacuation center, offering food, water, and medical aid. Volunteers from neighboring counties arrived with supplies, and local businesses donated blankets, diapers, and bottled water. Governor Alicia Martinez declared a state of emergency late Tuesday evening, unlocking federal disaster relief funds and mobilizing the Nevada National Guard. "This is a moment for unity," she said in a televised address. "We will rebuild, and we will do it together." Experts say the flooding is part of a troubling trend. Nevada has seen a surge in flash flood warnings in 2025, with over 2,400 issued nationwide in the first half of the year. Climate change is a key factor, as warmer air holds more moisture, leading to more intense rainfall events. Urbanization also plays a role, with paved surfaces accelerating runoff and overwhelming drainage systems. Dr. Ethan Caldwell, a hydrologist at the University of Nevada, Reno, noted, "We're seeing the consequences of decades of underinvestment in flood infrastructure. Culverts are clogged, retention basins are undersized, and emergency protocols are outdated. This flood is a wake-up call." Meanwhile, a summer thunderstorm on Tuesday brought heavy rain, flash flooding, and closed roads to Barstow and other parts of the Mojave Desert. Soon after Tuesday afternoon's flash flood warning by the National Weather Service, heavy rains pounded areas between Barstow and Lucerne Valley. By Tuesday night, Caltrans reported that State Route 247 south of Barstow was closed until further notice. An engineering crew will be on site on Wednesday morning to conduct assessments of damage from flash flooding. On Wednesday, authorities said State Route 247 would be closed between the Barstow Veterans Home and Northside Road for multiple days due to damage from the recent storm. The road will be accessible for residents only. Caltrans is working on repairing the road as quickly as possible. Brian Hartwick was one of several residents who shared photos of flooded Barstow streets and roads with the Daily Press.
It is pounding and blowing.
Brian Hartwick was one of several residents who shared photos of flooded Barstow streets and roads with the Daily Press. Some of the photos showed flooded roadways near Lenwood Road, Barstow High School, and State Route 247. Showers could return to parts of the Mojave Desert on Wednesday and Thursday, according to weather officials. Meanwhile, monsoons swept through parts of southern Arizona, impacting regions such as Marana and Red Rock, causing difficulties for drivers and students. Dirk van Schoonhaven, a driver stranded by the storm, described his experience. Around 4 o'clock, for 30 in the afternoon, there was a raging river, so I just parked and it was just sitting there waiting. And I was the first car in line, and I just sat there, and all of a sudden a big wall of water comes rushing down off the side and hits my left side, and I couldn't get the car started fast enough to back up, Van Schoonhaven said. A Good Samaritan in a truck attempted to help, pulling his car back, but Van Schoonhaven's car failed to start again, leaving him stranded northeast of Red Rock. Van Schoonhaven told News 4 Tucson he's only lived in Arizona for 2 years. Desert driving is all new, right, and flooding is all new, right? He said, and you see the signs don't enter while flooded, so you don't, right? But how far back do you stay? I thought I was at the top of a knoll, but even that was flooded. In Marana, students at Marana Middle School faced disruptions as a shelter-in-place delayed pickups and bus rides home while after-school activities were canceled. The storm also knocked down trees at a nearby nursery and flooded parts of the frontage roads off Interstate 10. In a dramatic display of nature's power, Arizona was battered by a series of intense monsoon storms from August 25th to 27th, 2025, plunging the state into a whirlwind of dust, rain, and disruption.
Look at this haboob coming.
From towering haboobs that turned daylight into darkness to flash floods that swallowed highways, the desert landscape transformed into a battleground between atmospheric forces and human resilience. The storm system, fueled by tropical moisture and desert heat, unleashed its fury across Maricopa, Pinal, and Pima counties, leaving tens of thousands without power, grounding flights, and testing emergency response systems to their limits. The monsoon season in Arizona typically peaks in August, but this week's events were anything but typical. A surge of tropical moisture from the remnants of Tropical Storm Juliet collided with a high-pressure ridge over the southwest, creating a volatile environment ripe for explosive thunderstorm development. On Monday, August 25th, the National Weather Service issued a dust storm warning for the Phoenix metro area, forecasting winds exceeding 60 miles per hour and visibility dropping to near zero. By late afternoon, a massive haboob, a wall of dust stretching over 50 miles wide, swept across the valley, plunging cities like Tempe, Chandler, and Mesa into eerie twilight. Radar imagery showed towering cumulonimbus clouds reaching heights of 45,000 feet, with lightning strikes recorded every few seconds. Rainfall totals varied, with some areas receiving over 1.5 inches in under an hour, overwhelming drainage systems and triggering flash floods.
At 6:30,
Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport, one of the busiest in the nation, was forced to halt all flight operations for nearly 2 hours on Monday evening. The haboob reduced visibility to less than 100 feet, prompting a ground stop for both arrivals and departures. Terminal 4 sustained roof damage due to high winds, and water leaks disrupted passenger services. Heather Shelbrack, the airport's deputy aviation director, stated, "Crews worked through the night to identify leaks and clean up water accumulation. Safety remains our top priority." Over 200 flights were delayed or diverted, stranding thousands of passengers. Airlines scrambled to rebook travelers, while hotels near the airport reported full occupancy within hours. The storm's ferocity wreaked havoc on Arizona's power infrastructure. According to APS and SRP outage maps, more than 56,000 customers lost electricity across Phoenix and surrounding areas. Downed power lines, toppled transformers, and lightning strikes crippled substations. In Gilbert, retired Professor Richard Philly described the chaos. "The wind knocked bird feeders off my porch, and fine dust seeped into every crack of the house. It was like the desert itself was trying to invade." Utility crews worked around the clock to restore service, but some neighborhoods remained dark for over 36 hours. Cooling centers were opened in Mesa and Glendale to shelter vulnerable residents from the triple-digit heat. The Arizona Department of Transportation reported widespread road closures due to flooding and debris. Interstate 10 near Avondale was submerged under 2 feet of water, while US 60 in Mesa saw multiple vehicles stranded in rising floodwaters. In Arizona City, Bernie Boykin Heitzman was driving her children home when the haboob struck. "I couldn't see my hand in front of my face," she said. "My kids were terrified. I had to pull over and wait it out. The wind rattled the car like it was made of paper." Emergency responders rescued over 40 motorists trapped in flood-prone areas. The state's 511 traffic system was overwhelmed with calls, and social media lit up with images of submerged cars and collapsed trees. Residential areas bore the brunt of the storm's wrath. In Chandler, a fallen tree crushed the roof of a single-family home, displacing a family of 5. In Ahwatukee foothills, strong winds knocked down traffic signs and shattered windows. Schools across Maricopa County canceled classes on Tuesday and Wednesday, citing safety concerns and structural damage. Mesa Public Schools reported flooding in 3 campuses, while Tempe Union High School District activated emergency protocols. Local businesses also suffered. Restaurants closed early, grocery stores lost perishable inventory due to power outages, and construction sites were left in disarray. Governor Elena Vasquez declared a state of emergency on August 26th, mobilizing the Arizona National Guard and unlocking federal disaster relief funds. "This is a time for unity and resilience," she said. "Arizona will recover, stronger than ever." Shelters were opened in Phoenix, Tucson, and Casa Grande, offering food, water, and medical aid. Volunteers from the Red Cross and Salvation Army distributed supplies, while local churches organized donation drives. Social media became a lifeline, with hashtags like Arizona Monsoon 2025 and Haboob Help trending statewide. Residents shared updates, offered shelter, and coordinated rescue efforts. Experts warn that this week's events are part of a broader climate shift. Dr. Maya Rios, a climatologist at Arizona State University, explained, "Monsoon storms are becoming more intense due to rising temperatures and increased atmospheric moisture. What we saw this week is a preview of future summers."
Yeah, you can see the speed of it.
Arizona's infrastructure, designed for dry conditions, is struggling to adapt. Urban sprawl has replaced natural floodplains with concrete, exacerbating runoff and erosion. Calls for investment in green infrastructure, bioswales, permeable pavements, and retention basins are growing louder. Despite the destruction, the monsoon brought moments of breathtaking beauty. Photographers captured lightning bolts illuminating the desert sky, rainbows arching over saguaro forests, and sunsets painted in fiery hues. Creosote bushes released their earthy scent after the rain, and desert wildlife emerged in the humid aftermath. Toads croaked in temporary pools, hummingbirds darted between blooming cacti, and coyotes prowled the damp terrain. For many, the storm was a reminder of nature's duality, its power to destroy and its ability to renew. As Arizona dries out and begins the long process of recovery, stories of courage and compassion continue to surface. From neighbors helping neighbors to first responders risking their lives, the monsoon of August 2025 revealed the heart of the desert state.
Tree is it the one from across the street or here in my backyard?
In the words of Governor Vasquez, we cannot control the storm, but we can control how we face it. Arizona has faced the fury and stood tall.